Yeah, I'm gonna be the first to say it. Fighting Sukuna is just not fair. Now, I know from the beginning of Jujutsu Kaisen, we have been shown a Sukuna that is meant to be foreshadowed to be one of the strongest within the verse. I mean, even what happened with Gojo, we saw what Sukuna can do. But I've seen it, you've seen it. These kids are not ready. Yuta, Yuji, Choso, Kusakabe, all these people that are fighting against Sukuna right now, it's not enough. There's just simply too much things that hint towards Sukuna being much more overpowered than they think. I mean, I love my boy Hakari, but when Urame said this guy is not even trying, you guys are not even doing anything equal to what Gojo did, that just tells you it's either Urame is a glazer or she's being real and letting you know, hey guys, there's no chance for you guys to win. This guy is something else. Now, there's a couple things that I think about the narrative that seems a bit wonky that makes me believe, is this really good writing from Gege Kutami? Now, hold on, hold your horses before you guys try and get onto me. Hear me out. Let me explain first why I believe that there's a little bit of inconsistency when it comes to Sukuna, and I think genuinely that him being overpowered is not the problem, but is how they have shown his state and the build up to being stronger than we think. That is the problem. Anyway, my name is Jay Xiao, remember the name. And if you haven't already, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Now let's begin to cook. So again, I have to state this from the beginning. Sukuna being overpowered is not a problem. In fact, I want him to be overpowered. I want him to be someone that is so unfathomably strong that we cannot even comprehend how he even got to this stage. The first example that comes into mind about why Sukuna is quote unquote not fair is what happened against Gojo. Now look, Gojo won, Gojo now had win, things of that nature. We know Gojo looked like he was the superior person in the fight. He seemed as if he was going to win. Sukuna was taking over Megami's body, in which he used Megami's body against Gojo. He wasn't able to land one hit on Gojo when it came to hand-to-hand combat. He used Agito and Maharaga as help to be able to fight against Gojo, and all it had to show was Gojo beating the brakes out of Sukuna, which at the time I was like, Gege, why are you letting Gojo be the only person to land hits on the other? Sukuna is literally doing nothing. The only thing he was able to land hits on Gojo was his domain expansion, and then besides that, he didn't touch him the whole rest of the fight. But that's obviously because of infinity, domain amplification, you get the gist. But the problem with this is that there's a certain scene, a certain time in which it shows Sukuna for the first time was nervous. This in of itself already signifies to the reader Sukuna is seeing Gojo as a threat. If someone is nervous of something, it's because they believe that there's a possibility that they could lose or something bad is going to happen. When he was fighting against Gojo, he clearly then was able to see a possibility of losing the fight when Gojo was able to use red and blue to create hollow purple as an atomic bomb. I mean, look at the way he screamed Maharaga. You think that's normal? He acted like Maharaga was his father. Look at the way he was screaming for him, saying, yo, you gotta stop him, Maharaga. It clearly shows that Sukuna was scared of losing or being damaged to the point where the others could come in and, you know, finish the job. So when he hit Gojo with the dismantle, which everyone's complaining about, hey, for me, I have no problem with it personally, but when he hit Gojo with the dismantle, it seemed as if he wasn't trying. They made it seem as if he had it all under control. He was never scared, when they told us already that he was nervous. They were signifying that Gojo is much weaker than him because, you know, he has this form and stuff like that. But in the fight, it didn't show that they were equal in any way. In fact, it showed Gojo was smacking him again and again and again. So even though he stole the body of Megami, we know that he has an original form which is quite strong. Why did they have to say or show us he was nowhere near full level and that he was holding back against Gojo? Why was that the presentation to us when we could clearly see he wasn't holding back? Because as someone that holds back, you wouldn't be nervous. That in of itself doesn't even make sense. It doesn't correlate. So then that's not obviously the only thing. Because on top of that, Gojo then added saying that there was no way for him to beat him. And for me, it's a little bit of a writing flaw from Gege. if you want me to be honest, because the narrative of the fight doesn't link with the words that are being said. Now, let us look at another example in which I believe Sukuna is not fair. So this is one of the more recent ones, in which Sukuna went against Yuta Kotsu and Yuji Todori. When he was going against them, you can see Sukuna is limited with the Hollow Wicker Basket. The effects from Gojo fight apparently is equal to Yuta in terms of the same amount of curse energy, you know the rest. So there was a certain point where Sukuna couldn't use the Hollow Wicker Basket and he wanted to be able to fight against Yuta and Yuji using this mantle to at least take one of them out. This requires an enchantment. We've seen it with Kashimo. We've seen it every time that he's decided to use this mantle, even against Higuruma. Sukuna needs to cause a chant. So in the story, they've told us already that his reverse curse technique, his brain for the domain expansion, his output is lowered. Everything is lowered. They have the advantage. Their plan almost worked if Megami was able to say, yo, I have the will to live. I'm gonna come out of this body now. They had the plan and I think they would have won. So Megami, hey, you are a big problem in why they got cooked. But even though that is the case, I wanted an explanation or something to tell me how was Sukuna able to call out dismantle, twin meteors when his tongue got cut off from his belly and from his actual mouth. How was he able to then out of nowhere be able to cause the chant? They haven't explained it to us at all. Is it something that doesn't need a chant? Or did he reverse curse technique fast enough when they told us it's already low and his soul was shaken and his output was lowered? And if the output is lowered, why on earth is he able to cause a dismantle? What's the point of lowering the output then in that case? So that tells me that Sukuna will be able to, no matter what, even if his arms are cut off, 2 of them are not there anymore. His tongue was ripped off, and then even on top of that, he is bearing the full brunt force of Angel's curse technique, Jacob's ladder, which, by the way, the purpose of the technique is that it nullifies any and all techniques caught in his light. But when Sukuna used it, nothing was nullified. He was able to take out Yuji, able to take out Rika, and dismantled Yuta into half. This is the character that I personally believe has been given this pass of, yeah, I'm broken, so what? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not really a coherent explanation as to why he can do certain things, which is my only gripe when it comes to Sukuna, man. I believe that Sukuna has been a bit imbalanced in how he is portrayed. He is known to be this strong guy that's able to do X, Y, and Z, but we don't really necessarily get an explanation for why he's able to counter certain things and why he's able to bypass them. In the situations I've explained with the Gojo and Yuta's situation alone, you don't really get an explanation as to why he was able to defy certain moments or certain things. It's like Sukuna tomorrow can destroy the world in one hit, right? He can blow up the world. And the reason that he was able to blow up the world is because he had this secret move from the high-end era that was casted away for thousands of years, requiring the binding vow of this and that to be able to use it and destroy the world. And then you just have to take it because like, oh, he's broken because back in the day, you know, he fought this person and this person, now he can do whatever he wants. That's what I'm saying with Sukuna. Is a bit, you know, wishy-washy. And don't get me wrong, as I said before, and even in the beginning in the video, him being overpowered, I like it. But I like if someone's overpowered and every time they do something that I'm like, what the hell did they do? I get an explanation for it. So now Sukuna is fighting against Maki. Maki is the one that is able to, you know, resemble Toji the most, 0 curse energy, and is ready to rumble. But even when Maki is fighting him with the Soul Liberation Blade, he can't use reverse curse technique in the same manner that he wants to, because when you are healing the soul, it is completely different. Bearing in mind, Sukuna has no heart. And I ain't talking about that as a figure of speech. He literally got his heart stabbed by Maki when she snuck him from behind. And in the process, now we learn that he's able to use his curse energy as a heartbeat. Now this is not as confusing as you might think it is, because this has happened before when he took his heart out when he used Yuji's body as hostage against Megumi. But what I find the issue is that even with all of this, it seems that Sukuna believes he has no problem. Now, we go to Hakuya and Urame, which is a fight that I need to see. I don't know why they haven't shown us another gripe from Gege, but you know, that's for another day. Urame adds to the fact that they have not equaled what Gojo has been able to do to Sukuna, and they should be ashamed of themselves. Not only that, but Sukuna still isn't taking the fight seriously. If she could say that the fight is not taken seriously after everything we have seen already, all that tells me is that Sukuna is not going to be losing by conventional means. Something really bad has to happen for Sukuna to lose, that it might actually end up ruining the story of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is what I fear the most. Because of how unfair he sounds like he's so busted, he's so broken. How can the end result be him not winning? He literally dismantled Yuta, unless Yuta now becomes honored one out of nowhere like how Gojo was when he was damaged by Toji. Or maybe Yuji finds some hidden power within him, or whatever the cause may be. It could potentially ruin the Jujutsu Kaisen story because of how overpowered he is, and he might end up destroying everyone in the process. Now, how would the ending with Sukuna winning sound to you guys? You know, I personally don't want Sukuna to win unless Gege decides to do a Jujutsu Kaisen Shippuden where we see the people grow, we see all of them get stronger, and then they decide to go against Sukuna. Because that would be the best way for me to enjoy the series, knowing Sukuna won, but I know they're going to come back and get the run back. But until then, this is going to be a very sticky situation to land, because how are they going to land someone that this overpowered, especially if his domain expansion is going to come back, if his cursed energy is going to come back? The only way maybe I could think of is Megumi does something crazy that allows him to nerf Sukuna. But besides that, I don't know how they're gonna do it, and I hope Gege does a good job in landing the finish. So yeah, that's my opinion on why Sukuna is not fair. It is actually quite unfair. But you know, tell me in the comments what you believe, if I'm chatting rubbish, if I'm just waffling, or you could explain why it is fair and why it is consistent with his character. I already know some of the reasons, but I want to know what you guys think. Anyway, make sure you leave a like, subscribe. Look at the screen right now. There's a banger video there. I know there is. There's like a couple. And yeah, as I said to new old people, come and visit my channel. Jana.